Okay. All right. Let's cheer ourselves up.
Note, Will is not using his normal microphone because this episode was recorded on a wing and a prayer.
Do you notice that?
I thought you were going to fart. I thought it was the way you were concentrating and moving. I thought you were going to fart.
Isn't that cool?
So you just basically just levitated yourself up into shot.
Isn't that cool?
Oh my God.
I want one of these chairs. I'm in my firm. If this is staying in the recording, I'm in my dad's old chair.
I had a feeling that we were going to record this episode in person. The way that you suggested way back before, you're in Cork at the moment and I'm in Cork, and I thought, oh, we're going to record together, and we had stunning weather.
Yeah.
And we haven't had a chance to. So now we're both siloed off in our own little spaces. Yeah. And this is... okay, so this is for the Patreon. We haven't prepared for this episode. We know what the topic is, but we haven't prepared for it because just at the last second, it was like, can we record it right now? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh shit, I know what we're going to do, but I thought we were going to record tonight. So I was going to do all my little bits and pieces and get my head around it. So we're winging it again, as we usually do. But hopefully...
Do you know what? It always works out. It always works out until we're listening back to it and going, why did we say that? Why did we not look at this? But I'm going to do some quick finger dancing here in the sidelines to try and keep our get the facts out and stuff like that.
Okay, you do the introduction, because we do need an introduction for the main show.
Just give me a moment, and I shall do that. Just give me a moment. Sorry about this now. This is Screenplay. This is what we do. This is Screen.
I recorded some hilarious, to me, AI themes, and I'm trying to figure out where can I put one of these, because I don't know how people feel about that stuff. Like, I'm of the belief that if it's for a lark, if you're doing an AI goofy image, that's fine. If you're doing an AI goofy song, that's fine. But if you're doing it to cheat, like you're passing yourself off as... Like, no one's going to listen to these and think, oh, Kevin's recorded a song. It's more like, I wrote the lyrics, put them into this thing and said, give me a song like this, and it did.
Welcome to Screenplay. Pull up a seat, two screenwriters chatting shit. Topical hot takes and skits, recommendations and top threes, banter and japes. Big screen, small screen, it don't matter. It's all fun and games. One is Will, 4 films deep, writer of a Christmas special and a Star Wars flick. One is Kev, writer of 1 and a bit films and 5 and a bit episodes of TV. None of them hits. One a BAFTA winner, the other a Razzie nominee. Screenplay, Screenplay, subscribe, Screenplay, like, share, review, and rate. Screenplay, Screenplay, 2 Irish shite hawks. Screenplay, Screenplay, banter, skits and shite talk. Screenplay, Screenplay, the best film and TV.
but I don't know how people feel about that. But I might
They're
throw
good.
one in.
I've listened to a few. I actually haven't listened to all of them, but they actually scarily are getting very, very good and entertaining and catchy is the word I would use. All right. Shall I do the intro? I can do it now.
Okay, 3, 2,
1. Hello, and welcome to Screenplay, the podcast where two professional screenwriters procrastinate on mic. I'm Will, and there is Kevin. And Kevin?
And this is the podcast where we take something topical and pick a top 3. Got it in one.
Yeah.
Done.
Top 3 recommendations. That's what I would say.
Yeah, for this one, definitely, because we are winging it on this episode. Last minute idea came to us, and an even more last minute opening to record. But a lot of films lately will have been doing really well. Like this is going to be such a stellar year for box office. There've been a lot of like surprise hits, Obsession, Backrooms, other films that I can't think of right now. But every film is sort of overperforming, except for a few notable ones, older IP. And lately we've had 2 big flops. One was Masters of the Universe, which I haven't seen yet, but according to some, it's actually very enjoyable, and I do want to see it. I just didn't get around to seeing it. The other one I have seen, and that's also now being labelled a flop, and that was Supergirl. And I thought, rather than taking Supergirl and thinking, let's do female heroes or whatever, let's talk about flops. Let's talk about films that have flopped and have been retroactively regarded as more deserving of their initial release. And the other reason it came up is because I watched that really lovely documentary, Marty, Life is Short, that you recommended.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Oh, it was really wonderful. Do you know what? Not to go off on too much of a tangent, but his book is fantastic. I wept reading his book. I sent you passages from his book. I was like, oh my God, this just fucking tore the heart out of me. The documentary's a little bit more pleasant. It deals with some sad stuff, but it's a lovely sort of like, it's a lovely sort of portrait of a family. And I enjoyed it, but the book particularly is special, very, very special. And it's hard to come by, but the book is called something like, Jesus, what's it called? It's got an obnoxious name. It's like The Humble Life of a whatever.
I'm going to find it right now. Martin Short, I must say, maybe that's it?
I must say.
Okay.
Yeah.
My life as a humble comedy legend.
Yeah. So that's his book. But there's chapters in that where he discusses the night that his wife died and taking his son outside and telling him a particular thing that if I was to paraphrase it now, I'd fucking destroy it. But it did tear the heart out of me, and I just thought this is such a beautiful book. I didn't realise until reading that book that he's like of Irish stock. That he often goes back to where his father was from, and he sleeps above the pub that his uncle owns, and you know he's treated very normally. And it's like, Martin, will you come down? Will you have a drink with us? And he'll
does he sleep
there? And
does he sleep in a shelf or a cupboard?
I'd say
he just tucks himself in. He closes the little cupboard doors. He shoves the plates aside, and he says, "I'll see you in the morning, guys."
Yeah, well, Northern Ireland, I suppose they don't even give him a tea towel to throw over himself. But he has a lovely outlook on life, and but he said in that documentary that Three Amigos was a flop. It was a huge flop.
Yeah, and
that negatively affected his career. And Inner Space was another huge flop.
Yeah,
and both those films I consider to be seminal. Like they are like bangers, and that it made me realize that when films are taken out of context of the time that they were released, so usually like films like Blade Runner or whatever, they came out the week of E.T. or The Thing came out the week of E.T. And in that market, in that era, they're playing against each other, and so there's a direct comparison between the two of them. And obviously, we all know that The Thing was regarded as a disastrous, like, panned flop. And now everybody would agree that it is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But we saw that film out of context of the time it was released.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Inner Space, same with Three Amigos. We just take them for what they are. Great films.
And
And I think that's probably going to be the way we approach this one.
it's the same for so many of the all-time classics. It's a Wonderful Life. That was a flop at the time. I believe even Wizard of Oz was a bit of a flop at the time. And of course, The Shawshank Redemption. These are all films that grew, in one way.
I saw that on the list. Shawshank Redemption was a flop, and I couldn't believe it, because I thought that was like one of those ones that just went on and on and on and never left cinemas.
How it actually got became famous was Turner Classic Movies. Ted Turner bought it as a part of a package.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, and put it on Turner Classic Movies, and it was on loads and loads and loads. So people were just catching it. People were catching it all the time, and so it was getting in front of people. The reason it flopped is that a big part of the reason it flopped was the name. People they would come out of the film going, "That was a good movie," and we would say, "Oh, what was it called?" And he would say, Shawshank, I can't, the name did not stick in people's minds, and that didn't help things at all. And it was just one of those things. Then once people started to gain a reputation within a year, I would say, within a year, it started to gain a positive reputation. And that's when it was on video, it started to really gain a huge following popularity.
It's become now a cliche because I think it spent about nearly 15 years as the number one film on IMDb.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, when you are at the top for too long, people will find fault with it and will find reasons to push against it because, by nature, people are contrarians. And regardless of if Jesus came back and started giving out everybody millions, it's like, here you go, lads, for believing in me, here's $1 million. There'll be people saying, I think, he's overrated. There'll always be somebody that'll find fault in something. So it is now regarded not as favourably as it was, but I still think that film is just, for what it is, it's a perfect film.
No, it's beautiful. That was just one of those magical discoveries where I remember watching it on video, like everyone else. And after watching it, I felt it was an experience that I'd been told one of the best stories of my life. And it was so beautifully told.
Did it even have a cinema release in this country?
That's a good question. I would say it nearly did not. I don't think it travelled even that well. They didn't even push it. Amazing. And one of those films that's the story behind it's amazing. Like it was one of the hottest scripts. The story behind it is that Stephen King would give people the rights to his material if they liked the cut of their jib for like $1 or $5 or something
options,
like that.
Yeah.
And he said, and I can't remember now the specifics of why Frank Darabont, got his favour.
He wrote him a ton of letters.
Was that it?
And I think he did a short film of his, and he quite liked it. The thing with Stephen King is he is a storyteller, so the truth even becomes a story for him, and you can't believe everything he says. So I think he will recite certain things that happened in the best version because it's a good story. And as an example of that, he thinks every fucking thing that's ever been made of his things are the best thing that's ever been made. So he'll come out and say, fucking, I don't know, Dreamcatcher is the best remake there's ever been of any of my work. It's one that is going to change the game. And then we all see Dreamcatcher and we're like, okay. And then the next thing, like, do you know, he's
he didn't say that about The Shining.
He didn't because I don't know why I think because he was cut out of the process a bit.
Maybe that probably is the case. And I've said it on this podcast. The Shining is just one of the most incredible adaptations of a literary material ever. Like it makes the text subtext without losing the subtext, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I saw one of the latest flops.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the latest Supergirl movie. You've not seen it.
No, I'm interested. I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
The brigands brought destruction to every corner of the universe. The galaxy must be defended.
Let's get to it. Fingers on triggers? Okay, let's go.
Aren't you the dicks from that dive bar?
Funny. That's what I've been calling you.
Touche.
I know it's pretty colorful, but that's just so everyone knows we're good.
We haven't been formally introduced.
Supergirl. Only in theaters June 26th.
How can I discuss it? All right, so there's no spoilers in this. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Right.
I would say it's everything I expected it to be based on the trailers.
Okay.
I am over the aesthetic that has become prevalent since James Gunn launched Guardians of the Galaxy. I should say, when Guardians of the Galaxy first came out, I thought that was a breath of fresh air. I loved it. I thought it was just enough irreverence and sentiment that it felt dynamic and new. It was like a gang of misfits hanging out together, and the banter was fresh and it was funny, and everything felt the songs were integrated into the story. It was a cassette tape that his mother had given him that he held on to, and they were fun songs, and it all worked. And they have just continued to beat that horse to death, or beat that dead horse. I've misused that expression before. They just continue to keep beating the shit out of that idea. And in this one, again, you have Kara Zor-El, Supergirl, dressed like Star-Lord, acting like Star-Lord, with pop songs peppered throughout, each one worse than the last. It's a very ugly looking film. It's really muddy. It's really brown and sludgy. It looks more like a Snyderverse film than they think. They're fucking up this new DC universe in the same way that Snyder did. I cannot see the Snyderverse, or I cannot see the James Gunn verse lasting much longer. I think he might get one more movie out of this, two more movies, and that's it. It's over. This one was, on paper, I imagine it could work, but like, I don't find anything fun about pissing, shitting, puking, and characters just swearing all the time.
Okay.
So having like Supergirl saying like "what the fuck" or "fuck" or "shit" or bullshit, and just that being seen as like cool. I find it really cringe.
So is there a lot of swearing? Is there a lot of like?
I would say every single character in the film swears.
Okay.
And they're the innocuous kind of swears. It's like shit, oh shit, look out, shit, oh shit. But it's like, come on, lads, just think of something else. Be a bit more artful about this. Kara Zor-El is an alcoholic who is going from one red planet or yellow planet sun, yellow red sun planet or yellow sun planet, so that she can get drunk. And she's got a lot of trauma. She lived in Argo City, which is like a snow globe version of Krypton that survived after Krypton exploded. Her parents all spoke kind of a Jewish language to her, so she didn't speak English. So she's got more trauma than Clark because she remembers her parents dying. They died slowly. She
Okay.
remembers all this kind of stuff. Eventually, she was sent off with Crypto, her dog, that annoying shitheel of a dog that I still think is a little prick, and I don't find him in any way charming.
Right.
She lands. One of the better scenes is when she lands on Earth, and Clark is like introducing her to Earth, and she speaks a different language, and he's like, "I promise you, it's not all like this. You're gonna like it here. It's gonna be fine." And she's like saying, "Why is he wearing underwear?" In her own language.
This sounds great.
That's probably the only good scene in the film. The rest of it is her teamed up with a god lover, an actress who can't act, a little English girl who's really stilted, who needs somebody's help avenging the murder of her parents. Her parents are slaughtered by, what's his name? Matthias Schoenaerts or whatever, the Belgian actor. He's a brilliant actor, but he's creme. And she will pay whoever helps her kill this guy. And Kara Zor-El stumbles across her in a bar and decides to get involved. Millie Alcock is quite good as Supergirl. Like she's got the right demeanor, the right attitude. But the movie is so sour. The movie is so like glum. And there's very little action in it. Very, very little action. And no heroics. As we said on our old superhero movie, superhero episode of The Best Bits. I like superheroes that are saving people, that are doing heroic things and stuff. That last Superman movie, which I didn't particularly love, had at least that, where Superman is like stopping a dog getting trampled on and stuff.
And it feels like this, of all of the superhero stories and characters,
I don't know who this is for.
The supers, the Superman, and by extension, Supergirl, you feel that they should convey that a little sense of wonder and awe, because is much of it set on Earth, or is it like
none of it's set on Earth, except for that one moment where she crash lands. She's on, like they've got this sort. Imagine the entire movie is set in the Star Wars cantina. It's like that. There's lots of like cool little aliens and stuff, but it's a rough, ugly world out there, and she's this drunk girl that's stumbling through it and being a wise ass, and but it's just a very brown looking film, really muddy. The action is terrible, and then like you'll have her beating the shit out of people in a CG landscape with CG all over the place. And they're playing this cursive singing song like da 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 da, and it's like, oh my god, this is fucking embarrassingly bad. Like, why are they doing this? Why? Who wants this?
Oh dear.
So I thought it was like, I'll say this, on paper I could imagine this being having moments of levity and fun. Like there's some nice lines in it where she says, Clark sees the good in everybody, I see the truth. And
that's nice.
Her parents telling her, you don't need to be kind, but you need to be good. Little things like that. But it's just an angsty, grumpy teenager who's an alcoholic in a grubby, dirty, filthy world, shot really poorly, and just very sour, very, very sour.
Oh dear. And it's, I was listen, I'm also not surprised, and it's from the box office numbers, it's done miserably at the box office, like really, really poorly. So it's just it's not capturing people's attention and wonder. Families are going out to see Toy Story 5 at the moment, and the teens are going out to see Obsession and Backrooms. And this is not doing the business.
I'd say this. If you have a goal to make a superhero movie, regardless of what it is, maybe you want to do the Matt Reeves thing and just make a really brooding, like foreboding Batman. But if you're going to do something like Supergirl, there should be two things front and center that you are focused on more than anything. One, you've got to make people feel roused. It's got to feel at some stage like, go on, girl, get him, or go on, girl, save him. You can do it. Like, you've got to have this moment of get up, go for it. You can do it. You want to feel that they're going to rise above it and be heroic in some capacity.
Yeah.
The other thing is you've got to have a bit of levity. There's got to be some comedy to it. There's got to be some joy in there. This is none of that. None of it. Like, I think back to that Wonder Woman movie, and that has its own issues, but at least that movie had a standout heroic moment of her deciding, I'm going to get up, nobody else is going to do it, I'm going to cast off the coat, and I'm going to walk into no man's land.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk towards the bullets. And that is like goosebumps moments of her walking into danger when nobody else can or will.
Yeah.
And then this is just like, okay, she's just going to be a little fucking grumpy pisshead, and everything is glib. Everything is like, blah, blah, whatever.
See, this is the problem, and this was why I had hopes for Superman, is that the essence and core of Superman is not glib, and you cannot be. You could have glibness maybe around Superman, but he's almost like the antidote. It might actually work, like salt and vinegar. That one is such a contrast to the other. It kind of elevates those individual qualities. And if you've got glib on glib, then what should we give a shit about? Who do we care for? What do we? We're not invested. That's where the problem is.
I just find James Gunn's taste to be really off-putting. He's the kind of guy that will, he'll behead somebody in the middle of an earnest speech, and that's considered to be hilarious. But somebody saying, please, my father needs help or whatever, and they'll get their head fucking lopped off and blood will geyser up into the air, and the person that was clutching their hands is drenched in blood, and then they'll say something glib, and it's like, okay, that was funny. And then he'll do somebody beating the shit out of a dog, and then that's maudlin and crying and sad and stuff, and then he'll have a terrible fucking pop song playing over it, like nothing compares to you. It's like, this guy is absolutely flat out fucking deranged and needs therapy if he thinks that is entertaining. Like, violence is funny when it's shocking, and then overwrought sentimentality, and also then somebody will shit their pants. There'll be a moment where the hero has done something, and then they'll turn around and go, I just shit my pants. It's like, ha ha, hilarious. I really just can't stand his taste in things. And I say all that as somebody that loved the first Guardians of the Galaxy, but fuck me.
Yeah.
I find his films to be so opposite to my own taste.
Detached, emotionally detached. That's where I feel I'm just emotionally detached.
Like they're like a 14-year-old that hasn't snapped out of things that what they find funny. There's a version of hormonal trolling where, I don't know, they'll fucking kick a ball through the window and it'll hit their granny in the face and they'll find it hilarious, and then they'll start crying about it. I don't give a fuck. You can cry all you want. You just smashed the window in and punched your granny in the face. It's not funny.
So this is one of those examples.
Am I making any sense? I don't know if I'm making any sense.
No. You're making total sense, because you're expressing how I have felt pretty much about all of his films, except the same as you for the first Guardians of the Galaxy film. Even the one he did, that superhero one he did, Super, I think it was. That indie super movie he did. Super
is a wretched film.
Yeah, and I remember just going, God, this has got a horrible core to it, and
rape stuff with a girl that looked like she was 14.
It's awful stuff. But it sounds
he didn't
like
direct this one. Obviously, this is directed by Craig Gillespie, but it feels like James Gunn all over it.
Right. Yeah, he said, and he didn't have a writing credit on it, but obviously, as a head
He chose
studio
the song
head.
at the end.
Okay,
He chose the song. Oh, terrible.
so that has given us our tee up for the topic of movie flops. And
Do you remember on the best bits where we'd only focus on things that we like?
But now this is our transition into that, where okay, there's a justifiable flop out there in the cinemas right now. It's not resonating for you anyway, but it doesn't seem like it's resonating with audiences as well. But there have been so many amazing flops out there, like proper classics, as we already spoke about. And I find the stories of why certain films flopped really interesting, almost definitely more interesting than, oh my God, Titanic was a huge success because. But I find that why they flopped more interesting because it's like the cautionary tale side of it. It's like, how come that did not work at the time? What the hell were people thinking? And
well, you're going to have to bring all that, because I'm afraid, Will, that I've not been able to do any research on why certain film flopped, or like I've had less than 45 minutes of research. I've probably had 5 minutes of research. So I've just been able to make a list of films that flopped that I like, and I'm going to recommend them.
That's good. Let's talk because I have
Now, if we were recording tonight, I would have had a fucking Wikipedia article ready on all of them.
Yeah.
But at the moment,
you shouldn't have gone to sleep. You should have checked your messages. That's what happened. You should be on call.
Will texted me at like midnight, and I didn't get it till this morning.
You need to be on call, podcast on call at all times. Where was your pager? Did you put your batteries in? So, as we said, Shawshank Redemption was a huge flop at the time, but grew to be massively successful.
Is this your pick?
No, not at all. I'm not. I'm because it's quite easy to go. If we were to do our favorite flop movies.
Top flops.
That's
the name of the episode.
That's going to be our spin-off podcast, actually, by the way. But what I wanted to do like that is like, okay, I wanted to find some box office flops that I want to recommend. I want to champion a little bit. I want to say, hang on a second, this kind of still hasn't been seen by many people. Maybe you should give it a go. Please find it and give it a go. So, and another one, because I've listened to a couple of these various either film stories or what went wrongs about a few films. Wrong?
Do you know that every single episode of ours that gets posted, there's a little thing at the bottom that says what went wrong mentioned in this episode with a link to what went wrong?
Oh, that's brilliant. It's a great podcast. It is a really, really good podcast.
Basically, we're like the What Went Wrong after show.
Oh, yeah. Well, this would be probably the film stories after show, because I just yesterday finished listening to the one on Fight Club, which was.
Do you think they ever mention us?
Do you think they ever think about us? Probably often. Do they mention us? No,
never,
because they know who's better. This is it's hard for them to admit it. They probably know it.
You see, I'm the one that's like, stop recommending other podcasts. They don't recommend us. Fuck them.
I'm just enthusiastic I enjoy listening to them. I think they're really good. But film stories as well. The story.
We're better.
Hey, stop talking about the podcast on the podcast. Stay on topic.
I'm trying to inject some humor into this episode because I feel like it's very dry now after me ranting for about.
You're just resonating. You're just resonating from that feeling of just like going, oh God, I just wail on a film for a while. You'd be grand. I forgot that Fight Club was a flop on its release, like a huge disappointment. Did you know at the time that it was a flop?
Is this one of your picks?
It's not, because I just wanted to bring it up. It's not one of my picks because everyone's seen it.
Have I told you this?
What?
Have I told you lately? No. I was one of the people that was really irritated by Fight Club in the cinema. I saw it when it came out. Was it 1989?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I saw it in the cinema. And I was bothered by the message of the film. where it felt like it was, and I was obviously misreading it, but I felt by the end of it like all men are pricks and all men are just into violence and breaking things and smashing shit up, and that's who we are at our core. We're just a bunch of like angry cavemen, and to deny that is to deny our own humanity. And it was pummeling that message, and it was so nihilistic, it was so cynical, it was so like focused on the kind of assholes that I wouldn't want to hang around with. And it was pushing that message out there. This is who all men are. And I was sitting there feeling like, I'm not like that at all. I'm not like that. And this film is just a bunch of assholes being assholes. And I don't agree with it. And I walked out of that film angry at the film. And I rarely get angry at films. But I was just so sort of like bent out of shape by what the film was suggesting. No, after 20 years of that film, almost like Idiocracy becoming the norm, especially in the States, where you've got guys that are like voting for Trump because fuck women and Gamergate and incel culture and all this stuff, that it really was reflecting the truth back about what men are capable of. But at the time, I was looking at it and thinking, like, we're not all like that, and fuck you for putting this out into the world and saying that this is who we are. Whereas now it's like, actually, yeah, that's kind of like a bit more accurate than I would like to accept.
I think,
aside from the fact it looked fucking glorious.
I think you're right in what you're saying there. That is, this is not a 1-to-1 comparison, but like Starship Troopers, another flop. People, when I saw it in the cinema, I remember just having an amazing time and loving the satire, the comedic satire, the really dark comedy from it, of it, because because I was so used to RoboCop at that stage, and it was a tone that I was familiar with. How some people could read, some very stupid people could read Starship Troopers as a almost like a pamphlet for how society should go and what should it be, and for like something that was promoting fascism when it's clearly not. It's clearly been satirical. And in the case of Fight Club, I think Fight Club fed into a sense of attitude culture, male attitude culture, which became the mainstream in the 2000s, late 90s, 2000s, around the time of Jackass, and around the time of, God, you should watch the Mr. McMahon documentary on Netflix, which is all about like that era of attitude from the WWF and how
the who
it's called
Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon is called Mr. McMahon, Mr. McMahon, MAHON, and it's excellent. It really is excellent, and you can actually almost see a direct link of the attitude, WWF attitude culture, and the way the MAGA culture of right now. That one, like, Trump was a character in that era, and it was all fueled from, I feel, a sense of taxi driver kind of syndrome, in the sense that people disenfranchised male aggression, disenfranchised,
or Scarface.
Yeah, that it's just like there's a sense of disillusionment with how the world was, and a place where a time where men felt disenfranchised, I feel. And then, as you were saying, it becomes blame this and let's beat the shit out of each other. Yeah, let's fucking just smash heads together, fuck the world, sort of thing. That attitude culture.
But you see, when I would look at something like Taxi Driver, I would see that as it's a tragedy and you'd have to work hard to idealize Travis Bickle. Whereas with something like Fight Club, they make it so alluring, so appealing, that like Brad Pitt has got the idealized body, like he was on Men's Health magazines, and it was all it really was years ahead of its time. But I was kind of resentful of the fact that I felt like that this was promoting that kind of mindset, that kind of lifestyle, that is who we should be worshipping, that anarchist, that id. And yeah, it was just a very two-dimensional way to view the film.
And I don't think that's the message
course,
of the film. I don't believe.
I don't think it was either. But I was in line with all of the critics. Like I remember getting that DVD box set, and the box set was just filled with all the negative quotes. Like the whole thing was just, you know, the way films would have.
Yes.
Brad Pitt is a revelation.
Yeah.
This is a reprehensible film, one of the worst ever made, appalling, ugly, like all these like Rolling Stones and all the different quotes from, like, it was panned. And I remember even there was the stories about, was it Amy Pascal or one of the people that was involved in making that saw the film, and the executives were so horrified. They thought that all their careers were over. Mm-hmm. Like they thought, we've basically made an unreleasable film here. We are destroyed. Yeah.
How did we make? It's like they were heard saying, walking out of the screening room, how could we have possibly made this film? How could we have possibly allowed this to exist? Yeah, it was absolutely, and it was just, and the funny thing about it is that Edward Norton told the story of when Edward Norton and Brad Pitt watched the first completed screening of it. I think Brad Pitt turned to Edward Norton and said, "We're never going to make a better film than this one. We've made the best film of our lives." And they both agreed, yeah, that's like the best film we've ever made. It's incredible. The origin of the idea, Chuck Palahniuk, I'll just tell you quickly the origin of the idea.
Yeah, but didn't he see Meet Joe Black?
Didn't he what? Did he make you Meet Joe Black?
Yeah.
Well, like, that also was 3 hours, I suppose. 3 hours. Meet Joe Black was a 3-hour film. I remember, I was there, I saw it. That's it. The origin of the idea, it's Chuck Palahniuk who wrote the book, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He was working in an office and he had gotten in a fight at the weekend, and he showed up at the office on Monday morning with a black eye, and no one commented on the fact that he had a black eye. They just carried on, and he just went, hold on a second.
I had an experience like that in school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got into a fight in, I must have been 16. I think it was the last fight I ever had. Oh, sad. Will I tell that story?
Was it also the first?
I was going there. How are you?
It's my nieces, actually. My nieces.
Tell them come in. Ask them when was the last time they had a fist fight.
Yeah.
No, I was in secondary school in the Mon. There was a prick in my class. A guy who... I was too quick. I was too quick-witted, too sort of like funny. And he wasn't. And he took it just sort of like a dislike to me. And it was building up for months and months and months. And I was just like, this guy is a fucking dipshit. And he was down the back of the class, and I was up third from the front at my own little gang. And we were coming back from lunch, and he spat. He was walking with two other guys. He spat, and it landed on the back of my jacket.
Oh dear!
And I thought, right, I've had enough of this. This is this is like when there was basically like 1,000 lads heading back to school.
Okay,
and so of course it becomes like a fight in the middle of like Croke Park, like
oh god,
in the stands. But I squared up to him, and we got into a fight, and I was at the stage now where I was like, I'm going to kill him. I'm not going to fight him. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to fucking rip his throat out, and I'm going to get taken away by the shades, but I'm going to murder him. I'm going to fucking murder him. I was like at that stage, and so we just got into it like a proper fucking brawl of a fight. But either the second or third blow that he connected with me, his finger went into my eye.
Oh,
and as soon as that happened, I just bent over and I was like clutching my eye.
oh,
And then he just kept pounding on the back of my head, just punching the fucking back of my head. And I was done. Like my eye was like, I was afraid that I was now gone blind in one eye.
Oh, no.
And I lost that fight. I was so like defeated because I knew I was going to kill him, like physically kill him. And I would have. And he got a lucky fucking punch and the finger went into my eye and that finished me off. And it still haunts me to this day, because if that didn't happen, I would have fucking broken his nose. I would have headbutted and broken his nose. I would have fucking smashed his teeth, and I was just ready to kill him. And I didn't get my blood. But we then had to go straight into English class with my favourite teacher, Boo Boo, who loved me, Boo Boo, who thought that I was like a brilliant writer. He was like one of the first people that used to do things. I think this might have contributed to why this guy didn't like me, but he would hold up my fucking essays and show them to the rest of the class. And like, this is how you write an essay. And he'd get me to read them out and stuff. And I'd be like, oh, for fuck's sake, no. But, you know, he was supporting me, but he was making a spectacle of me in front of everybody. And I sat there with like one eye sealed completely shut, completely like already going black. And he never said a word, never commented on it, never said anything. And I sat there in that class with my head just like pounding and my eye like swollen out like I'd headbutted a lamppost. And yeah, so that's like Jack Pollock, where he went to work and nobody commented on his black eye. And I sat in that class with my favourite teacher and he never said like, what happened here? Nothing. Was
the other fella's name Will Collins by any chance? Was it me? Because I remember being in my last fight and I kicked the shit out of this guy.
Do you know what? I can't remember his full name, but his first name was Jonathan.
Okay. We'll track Jonathan down.
Scumbag.
And here we go. And Jonathan is here with us tonight. Jonathan, come on in.
Do you know what? I hope Jonathan died in a car accident.
Oh God, don't say that. Don't say that.
I hope he left behind a load of kids.
You said, Kevin, that you had a list of films. Do you want us to go through? Do you want to give me one or two of these films on your list?
Okay, I'll go with my number 3 pick then.
Okay.
My number 3 pick came out in 2012.
Okay.
Or
I love this. This is my game of like,
on,
when will I figure it out? Go on.
Came out in 2012, end of 2012, or 2013 in the States. July in the States. It was a first-time writer.
I know where you're going.
It was...
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Grabbers.
How dare you? Grabbers wasn't a flop. How dare you?
Oh, my God. I've never heard of Grabbers. Tell me more.
Grabbers was a flop that ended my career as a screenwriter, and everything that I was told that was going to happen after you get a film made didn't come to pass because nobody went to see the film. Now, every time the film comes up, I will see comments online where people are saying, like, I wish people knew more about this film, or this is one of my favourite films. I've been waiting 10 years for people to discover this film, and such and such. They haven't discovered it. They didn't discover it then. And it was a great shame to me because I was so excited. And I'll never forget going to the Gate Cinema with a bunch of friends, and we were the only people in the cinema.
Oh.
And I thought to myself, this is one of the most humiliating things. Send me back to 1998 in secondary school so I can bait the shit out of Jonathan again. But it was...
But at least you had room for activities. At least you could, like, you know, get up on stage you know, get in front of the projection and just kind of do puppet animals and whatnot.
I did. I leaned over the railing and I wailed. I wailed and I wailed and I sobbed and I wailed. No, but I had to mention it because I did write a film that didn't do any business, and I think it's a good film, and I think people would like it if they checked it out. No, my genuine number 3 is My Brothers. So my.
No, that's a flop. That's a flop. Hey, that's not only a flop, but it also has the distinction of nobody, in retrospect, going back to it, going, hey, I wish people talked about this movie and actually championed it a little bit more. No one's found it. I actually yesterday found a DVD copy in my dad's bookshelf, and I went, there it is. I found the copy.
Under a cup of tea.
I think he's like 2 copies up there. I was like, that's the 2 copies that were sold. Thanks, Dad. Yeah. What is it? Go on, tell me your one.
My number 3 is Sorcerer.
That was an honorable mention for me. That's an amazing film. Yeah.
Okay, so Sorcerer was the first real failure in Friedkin's career, critical and commercial failure. He'd come off of The French Connection, he'd come off of The Exorcist, 2 gigantic hits. And this was a remake on Wages of Fear, which is also a very good film. In fact, I think Sorcerer and Wages of Fear are an example of 2 films telling the same kind of story that are both successful in the way that they iterate that story. Like, you can't say Sorcerer is better than Wages of Fear or Wages of Fear is better than Sorcerer. They're both just excellent films. They both work. They both tell the story in a way that makes both of them good in different ways. Sorcerer is much more 70s. The story is... let me just get it up here. It's one of the great wrong film, wrong moment disasters, a bleak, expensive, macho, existential thriller released just as Hollywood was leaning into the future, which belonged to myth, spectacle, and reassurance. That's not the plot.
No, that's really unusual. I can find it. Can I do it? I'm going to say Sorcerer is about 4 men.
They have
4 men from different parts of the globe, all hiding from their pasts in the same remote South American town, agree to risk their lives transporting several cases of dynamite, which is so old that it is
not dynamite, nitroglycerin.
Nitroglycerin, which is also another word for dynamite. It's dripping unstable nitroglycerin across dangerous jungle terrain.
The barrels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it literally is just that. It's so 70s. One of the last remaining of the 70s. It's incredibly tense. There are action sequences in it. There's, like, the bridge sequence alone. Like, if you've not seen it, you've seen the poster, and it has that truck on a rickety rope bridge that's trying to ride across a torrential, overbursted river. Like the rapids are just pouring underneath it. They did that for real, and they did it like 6 or 7 times to get that shot. That was actually a stunt driver driving that thing across that rope bridge. I think the rope bridge was reinforced. It had like cables and whatever. But it's a stunning action sequence. The film is very quiet. Like it realizes that silence is an enhancing effect on tension. Sorkin blames the title for a lot of the film's mistake, and to be honest, as a kid, I would have thought the same thing. If you're going to name a film Sorcerer,
dude, I was the same way, because I remember seeing it on lists and I went, Sorcerer. So immediately I'm thinking, it's a Swords and Sandals, or it's a fantasy adventure movie, an old school one. Not what it is. So yeah, please.
No, it's the name of the truck. One of the trucks has got the name Sorcerer written on the side of it. It's just that I guarantee you that anybody that listens to this podcast that hasn't seen it, if you put on Sorcerer, you're going to get gripped by it. It's just going to grab you. You don't have to think too much. It's a sensory film. It places you in that jungle. It places you in that truck. It's a superb film. I was surprised it was a flop. I was surprised that it had such a negative effect on Friedkin's career. I think he made a pivot after that to Live and Die in LA. I think that was the film that came after.
Yeah,
it.
it's quite a while after that. If I'm right, I can double check on that. But it's
you can look it up.
I'm gonna look it up right now. But yeah, it ended like he was a golden child of the 70s. Pretty much that ended overnight, and it just shows how fickle the Hollywood industry is. That you can be top of the world for a decade, and all of a sudden you release the wrong film at the wrong time. The next film he did was actually a comedy, which I'd forgotten that I'd watched, called The Brink's Job in 1978, starring Peter Falk.
I've never seen that.
Peter Falk, Peter Boyle, Alan Garfield, and I actually was watching it as a research for Best Heist, and I never finished it. And it wasn't because I was like not interested; I just ran out of time. So he did The Brink's Job after that, which I think also was a failure. Then it was Cruising, which was a controversial failure, which we've discussed in the past. Then he did the disastrous Deal of the Century with Chevy Chase, and it was 1985 he did to Live and Die in LA. So this was compounding. He had 4 compounded flops in a row, essentially, and that's where he Live and Die in LA came.
He was also a very difficult director. Like, he was not somebody that people enjoyed working with, even though they ended up giving like great performances. Sorcerer also went way over budget. Like, it went up to about 22 million in the end. The bridge sequence was practical, but it took months to prepare for. They were originally going to do it in the Dominican Republic, but the river dried up. So then they had to move the whole bridge to Mexico, where they had nothing but like issues with the river and stuff. And they had to have artificial rain, so they got rain machines going on top of it and pump systems, and that sequence alone cost over 3 million. And freaking still, until he died, I suppose, considered it the hardest scene he had ever attempted. People got sick constantly, and freaking was wrecked by it. Accounts of the shoot described illness, exhaustion, and crew turnover. He said that half the crew either went to hospital or had to be sent home, and he himself lost 50 pounds and was diagnosed with malaria after the premiere. So he lost Steve McQueen, who was the commercial safety net for the film.
Where did he lose him? At the airport? At the fun fair?
At the racetrack. Steve McQueen just fucking flew off.
Yeah.
Alan McGraw left. He asked her to be involved either with a role or a producer credit. Marcello Mastriano and fuck it, you can read it yourselves.
That should be the title of this episode. Fuck it, you can read it yourselves. It's an astounding
I had
film.
no time to do any research. I usually have all this stuff like off the top of my head. So my number 3 is Sorcerer.
Okay, that's good. The one I'm going to recommend, maybe it's probably ones that is probably the most well-known ones. One of my 3 recommendations, and it is Terry Gilliam's Brazil from 1985. Now, I assume everyone who's about our age has seen Brazil, but I think anyone who's a bit younger,
I haven't.
Oh man, this was one of those films that I discovered when I was seriously getting into cinema, and it got me really pumped for movies. So the plot is it's about a low-level bureaucrat, Sam Lowry, who escapes the monotony of his day-to-day life through a reoccurring daydream of himself as a virtuous hero saving a beautiful damsel. Investigating a case that led to the wrongful arrest and eventual death of an innocent man instead of a wanted terrorist, Harry Tuttle, he meets the woman from his daydream, and in trying to help her get caught
you can
in
read
a
it
web
yourself.
of mistaken identities, mindless bureaucracy, and lies.
It's amazing you got all that off the top of your head. It's
I
just like
looked at the letterbox,
looking at you,
synopsis,
glazing over as you stared at me and just saying all that.
and you can tell I'm not in front of my normal monitor because I struggled to read this because the text is so small. This was one of the films that I was citing for a number of years as my favorite film when I was a youngster. I thought it was just
what film?
This film, the one I'm talking about right now. Grabbers.
Sorry,
That'll
I
get
tuned
all of
out.
a sudden. I'll say, "Oh, Grabbers," and watch Kevin he'll perk up. Oh, did someone say Grabbers? Did someone say
Yeah.
Grabbers?
It's a great film. That.
So all I have to do is just insert Grabbers every now and again, and you'll pay attention.
I have a treatment for a sequel to that. You know?
That's interesting. So why I love Brazil is that it genuinely is so visually astonishing. It really is. I remember there was a term that was
called
coined
high tide.
on. There was a term that was coined on the 12 Monkeys. The 12 Monkeys making of, and it was called the hamster factor. And there was a brilliant making of documentary on the 12 Monkeys DVD. And those dudes went on to make the Lost in La Mancha, the documentary of the failed Don Quixote movie, which eventually he did get to make, which wasn't very good. But they called it the hamster factor because Gilliam was so obsessed by just like a little hamster that was in like whirling around in his little wheelie thing. And
you call him Gilliam? I call him Gilliam.
Do you? I have no idea.
No.
So,
Have you had your breakfast? I'm starving.
Oh right, okay. It's like, so you're saying you haven't seen Brazil?
I actually haven't. No, to be completely serious, for a change, I've not seen Brazil. Everything I've seen of it, look. I'm not a big whimsy fan. I'm not into whimsical fantasy. There's a couple of things. You're not going to get me with sword and sandal epics. I just cannot get into them. They've got to be really, really special for me to get into them. And you're not going to get me with like whimsical fantasy where everything is almost steampunk. What are you smirking at? Are those your next two picks?
No. I'm kind of going, I don't know if I would use whimsy to describe Brazil. I would call it a dystopian fantasy. It's very oppressive. It's funny. It's nightmarish in its own way.
Is that the one where the boy has the book and all the stuff comes alive?
No. Are you talking
What
about
film is that?
The Never-Ending Story?
No. The one where the kid goes back through time and...
No, I don't know where you're going with this one. Dude, do you not? I can't believe you don't know what Brazil is. So this is why I am glad we're doing this episode.
Brazil is the one where they've all got the plastic surgery and there's the poster of the guy with the wings and they all work in some factory that's floating in the sky and stuff.
Okay, no. You're being so the wings bit is like this daydream that he has. It's like this daydream. That's only a fraction of the movie. Most of the film is this dude, or Jonathan Pryce's character, who is kind of stuck in this bureaucratic nightmare, even though he is a part of the
Siri,
system.
what is the film where a kid is remembering like mythological people like Arthur and all those fuckers? It's a 1980s film. That didn't record.
This is. Do you know what? We can come back to that.
Siri, what is the film in the 1980s where a kid is remembering all these mythological people like Arthur and things, and it's a 80s kids film?
Oh, you're thinking of the Time Bandits. That's what you're thinking of.
That's the Time Bandits. Why did you let me go through all that? And
that's what you're thinking of. No. It's not the Time Bandits. Not at all. This one is the one where it has a very...
That's also Terry Gilliam.
I think it is, yeah. I think it is, but it's much more of a Python endeavor. This one is not at all, does not have that level of whimsy at all. This one is not like that. Gilliam's original cut had a dark, a very, very bleak ending. And that's the ending he wanted. The studio Warner Brothers, I'm pretty sure, were horrified at that. And so they took the film from him and they reshot the ending and they gave it the fantasy, the happy ever after, the love. Oh yeah, it's called the Love Conquers All cut, which repulsed Gilliam. And Gilliam, as a reaction, he put out a full page ad in like trade papers saying, I think it was like, dear, I think it was Sid Sheinberg was the dude who was there. He said, when are you going to release my film? And so he stole the negative of the film and actually screened it for critics. He's cut of the film. and critics raved about it. So as a result, it felt like it was a film that people he managed to curry the critics to be his champion essentially, and so people were interested in it. But the film was released. I don't know which version came out. I don't know if it was the Love Conquers All version came out, but it's such a brilliant, imaginatively fun, bleak but never totally oppressive because it's always so light on its feet type of film, type of dark dystopian fantasy. And Robert De Niro has this like side character in it as a kind of a terrorist plumber, which is very, very fun. I'm recommending it. I think you should see it if you haven't seen it.
I read a book from Terry Gilliam that recounted all of his ups and downs in his career, and he spoke all about what you just said. The dinners he was having with those executives, the fact that they were changing the budget on him, the producers were leaving, he was getting different producers attached, and all the sort of finagling that he had to do. And I can't remember what the name of the book was called, but it was very, very good, very illuminating. And I'd have to go through my Audible to be able to find that book now, and there's probably no point. But yeah, I've not seen Brazil. And do you think I would like Brazil?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
So what are you recommending it to me for?
Not just you and me. We've got listeners out there who are listening to this too.
Name them.
Who are probably going,
name them.
Ah, Christ, Kevin, you haven't seen Brazil. You should watch Brazil. It's damn good. But there was a period when I was young, I was like going, oh, Brazil's my favourite film. So I thought it was like, that's...
Really?
It's kind of like, there's a Wes Anderson, it's a more...
On a scale of Temple of Doom to The Two Towers, where would you place it?
It's the Hobbit Desolation of Smaug. That's where it's at.
Oh, well, no, you've definitely sold it to me.
It's the Dial of Destiny.
That first Hobbit was one of the worst cinema experiences of my life, let me tell you.
Pretty harsh. What about you? What other one are you going to recommend?
Oh, I don't know, Will. Oh, let me have a look.
Let's look at your list.
Okay. Back here. Did you know Children of Men was a flop?
I did not know that. No, I'm surprised by that.
It's down here is a flop. Did you know Blade Runner was a flop?
I did know Blade Runner. I know that Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049 were flops.
That was a flop as well.
And Blade Runner 2049, even though like the original Blade Runner got tepid reviews on its release, and also audiences, the studio didn't know to sell it, and also it's one of those films where I, even as a kid, remember seeing the cover of the video in the video library, and I saw, oh, it's Harrison Ford. But I don't kind of know what... It doesn't look like Raiders of the Lost Ark, or it doesn't look like Star Wars so much to me. And I kind of rejected it. And even as when I first encountered it, it was too mature for me. The noirish...
What film is this?
This is the Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug. And...
All right.
But it obviously gained in its reputation as the years went on, and Ridley Scott was fiddling around with the narrative. And then Blade Runner 2049, which I don't know, came out in 2015 or whenever it was, 2017. Like, critics loved that when it came out. I loved it, but I remember leaving the nearly empty screening, and a couple were walking out ahead of me, and the girlfriend turned to the boyfriend and she says, oh my God, that I'll never get, I won't get those 3 hours back, I'll never get those 3 hours back, sort of thing. And I went, oh, God damn it, this is not connecting, it's too long. And, but I thought it was a stunning film. It was a great experience.
It needed to be a bit more violent, I felt. Okay, I'm going to go with, you see, there's a film that I think is great, but people won't watch it.
Okay.
I thought it was great. And I know you won't watch it. Did you ever see Under the Skin?
It's been on my list. I have not. But it has been on my list.
You haven't seen Under the Skin?
No.
Oh my God, there's people listening to this now, they're going to be saying like, you've got to watch Under the Skin.
Okay.
So Under the Skin is quite a whimsical film.
Oh,
It's
sounds like my cup of tea.
I don't think that word means what you think it means. Under the Skin, I saw in the cinema, and it's not my pick. I'm just going to mention it as an honorable mention. It was striking and so cold and so sad and so singular. Scarlett Johansson is an alien who is moving through Glasgow, I think it is,
Okay.
in the guise of a gorgeous woman. It's basically like Species, but
Yeah.
she is trying to understand humanity, and she's encountering men. And when she chooses a male to be consumed by her spaceship or whatever the fuck it is, that black goo and things, haunting music, one of the most like nightmare fuel moments in it is very, very simple, where to demonstrate her lack of humanity, this guy runs into the water in the thrashing sea to save somebody, and he drowns, and the other person drowns, but he leaves his like 6-month-old baby on the rocks,
Oh my God.
crying, and he doesn't come back out of the water, and she just walks right past the baby that's crying on the rocks and gets in the car and drives off and leaves, and the waves are slowly coming up, and it's this idea of just like, she just left that baby there, that baby's going to be killed, and didn't care. And it's done for real, like the baby's sitting on that frozen fucking beach, screaming its head off, and the waves are coming, and the waves are coming, and the waves are coming, and it's like, oh my God, she really is an alien. Anyway, I saw that with, I think it was a preview screening. Incredible music, just so haunting. It's not going to be my pick though, because it's such a bleak one. I'm going to go with one that sort of inspired this episode, and that is Inner Space, because it came up in the Martin Short documentary, and I was like, Inner Space was a flop?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that film was a huge hit. Inner Space has everything that I love in those kind of movies. It's funny, it's romantic, it's got great action set pieces, great characters, a very simple through line, a great ticking clock, great villains, great practical effects, some laugh out loud moments, like with the guys have been shrunk down to half the size, and they're trying to chase them around the place. It's a very, very silly film. It's one of my favourite Joe Dante movies. Martin Short is great in it. Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan are brilliant in it. Brilliant score. Got a great like closing track from Rod Stewart, Twisting the Night Away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fun movie, and I'm bringing it up just in case anybody has not watched it. And this is now where we're in the space of just recommending things. So I'm going to recommend Inner Space.
It's brilliant. That's one I'm pretty sure I've watched in the last year. I just got it on TV on Channel 4 or whatever it was.
Is it good?
I've heard it's good, yeah. I was asleep for most of it.
Okay.
Fred DeCamp told me I enjoyed that one. I've got two final.
told me.
Is that your number one? Have you got one more to go? Because I think
That's my number 2.
That's your number
I've got
2.
one more to go.
Okay.
I now need to figure out what my number 1 is. Let me have a look here.
My number 2 is an unfinished film, and it's a fascinating story, the making of this film. It's the film, I think it holds the record for the longest production time in cinema history. I think its production.
Is this going to be that guy, that animation guy whose name I can never ever get right? Don Bluth,
Richard Williams, Dick Williams. So
yeah.
it's the recobble. It's the Thief and the Cobbler, the recobbled cut, which you can see on YouTube. The recobbled cut is on YouTube. It's
that's piracy. I wouldn't do that.
Well, it was something that was, well, you're piracying from Harvey Weinstein, so feel free to pirate away. That's what I would say. He started this project. Dick Williams was an American animator from the Disney Studios. He moved over to London where he set up shop. He did an awful lot of we talked about this before, the ads, TV ads from
I forget that.
Cadbury's. There was the Cadbury's bunny was him. basically a lot of those great...
Voiced by Miriam Margolyes.
Oh, yes. Voice of an angel. And I won't finish the rest of that. The amazing... those ads stick in your memory because they were done with such care and craft and quality. In
Cadbury's Caramel Bunny.
That's her, yeah, the Cadbury's Caramel Bunny.
Oh, they stuck in my mind for something else.
Okay. He was using the money he was making for that to make his feature film, which was The Thief and the Cobbler. He kept working on it for decades. And eventually, as he saw huge success when he was hired to do all the animation for Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That was a massive success for him, but it took an awful lot of effort. But it helped finance further production of The Thief and the Cobbler. It rolled on for a few more years, and eventually he started to run out of money. And he did a deal with Miramax where they said, "Right, we'll finish off the movie for you." But in actual fact, what they did was they just hijacked the entire production, sliced what they had up, put in a really awkward voiceover, and just threw it out into cinemas, and it barely even made $1 million or something like that. It was a complete flop. It was a complete disaster. But subsequently, animation students had gotten a copy or cut together a kind of a rough cut where what didn't have finished animation, but it had enough of the animation to see how amazing the animation was. And so this the version that's out there on YouTube is the intended version, which is a silent movie. And it's a tour de force of animation. It genuinely is so rich and beautiful and almost kind of mind-bending in how amazing it is. And animation students have used it as a kind of a touchstone of this is the good stuff. This is the really, really good stuff. And of course, there's the other added story, which is Aladdin, Disney's Aladdin, had been kind of accused of stealing an awful lot of the stuff from The Thief and the Cobbler. I definitely know not enough people have seen the recobbled cut, so I would love people to just take the time, go on YouTube and watch that. It is amazing. It really is.
Cool. I'm going to look that up since it's on YouTube. I got YouTube Premium at the moment.
Ooh.
Because if you sign up for Google Gemini, a 3-month trial, I think it's $1.99 a month. Not that I use Google Gemini, to be honest with you, but it gave me YouTube Premium for 3 months, and it is a bit of a game changer.
Why is it better? Why is it a game changer? Is it I thought it was just
no ads.
Well, no ads is a good thing, yeah.
And you can listen to YouTube without watching it, so you can have it playing in the background. And there's a lot of things that I like, shows that I like to listen to. Okay, for my number one, I don't know what way to go here. I'm not going to talk about Ishtar because we talked about that in the past. That's a film that got overly maligned for really. It's a fine lark of a film, and the reputation, I expected some abomination. It's not that at all. I think it was just they just overshot that film, and it cost so much to make that it was regarded as a flop regardless. Wet Hot American Summer ended up having a spin-off sequel series, so I think that's found its legs. But that for a long time was a film that I felt like I was the only person in the world on this side of the Atlantic that had seen that, and I was like, this film is fucking hilarious. You've got to watch Wet Hot American Summer. But that's sort of found its fans now. Idiocracy, we're living through it. Notorious flop, but now it's more prescient than any science fiction film that ever came to pass. I've got an option here between two. It's either Dread or The Nice Guys.
Dread or The Nice Guys. Okay, both very good.
I think I'll go with The Nice Guys because I had such a fun time watching that film. that it bums me out that we didn't get a sequel, and I feel like we could have gotten a good sequel. For me, it's the last great Shane Black movie. Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe are hilarious in it. They have a great rapport. Some of the gags in that are very, very simple, but they work because of how committed they are. Like stupid little things like Ryan Gosling punching his hand through the window and having to be taken to the hospital because he slashed his wrist.
Yeah.
Trying to keep the stall door open with the gun and it keeps closing on him and he's like sitting on the toilet bowl and he can't keep it shut. The gags of like riding the elevator together with the music playing, the girl from Ipanema and stuff. All these tiny little things, these ambient gags that I find hilarious, where it's not spoof, but it's just the world is farcical around these characters. And they're basically the wrong people for this kind of story. And I love that kind of stuff. I love those kind of, jocular double acts. And we haven't had a good one in a long time that isn't screaming, screeching, over the top, Kevin Hart, like just comedy that is anti-comedy to me. It's like begging for the laugh, whereas this is smirking throughout.
Yeah.
And it's such a fun movie, and the fact that it flopped, I'm shocked by. So I'm scanning through my list here and thinking, I'm not really fussed about The Northman or Beau is Afraid, which I hated. Silence, a very intense film, very, very long.
I still haven't got it. I have it on Blu-ray, but I have not watched that film. I have not watched it.
It's beautiful.
I'm trying to get a moment to peace and quiet to watch it.
It's beautiful, but it is it's quite
silent,
sad. No. Iron Giant, we've talked about before. We've talked about Starship Troopers, Shawshank Redemption, The Abyss, Ishtar, Brazil, Labyrinth. I'm surprised Labyrinth was a flop.
Yeah, it was a flop. It was, again, one of those ones that should have done better. Shall I give you my one that I'm going to recommend?
So that's my one, The Nice Guys.
The Nice Guys, which is great. The one I'm pushing right now is one that I definitely recommended on the podcast before. But again, I feel I know not enough people have seen it, and I'm going to keep championing this film because I think it's like almost like the antidote to all the CGI spectacle that's come out of Hollywood over the last 20 years. This has relatively no CGI in it, but it looks like a magical wonder. It is
Battleship Potemkin.
That's the one. No, it's The Fall. It's that beautiful Tarsem Singh film that came out in...
That film has no CGI in it?
I think relatively no CGI. It is all shot practically.
They did everything in camera?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure nearly. I'm not saying 100% not, but like as much of it is all in camera as possible, I think. It is stunning. It is. Let me just pull up a synopsis. But it's not just that it's beautiful to look at. It is just one of those stories that pulls you in and rips your heart out because it's been told to this really innocent Romanian girl who'd never acted in anything before or since. There was a naturalism in her performance, and she's the beating heart of this film. She's the emotional beauty of the film when the film itself is aesthetically just astounding. The letterbox synopsis says, in a hospital on the outskirts of 1920s Los Angeles, an injured stuntman begins to tell a fellow patient, a little girl with a broken arm, a fantasy story about 5 mythical heroes. Thanks to his fractured state of mind and her vivid imagination, the line between fiction and reality starts to blur as the tale advances. It stars Lee Pace and this wee girl. It's absolutely incredible. Tarsem Singh.
It is so... It's almost like every image is like a high-end magazine fashion cover. Like some of the imagery is stunning.
And I'll tell you why you're right in saying that. Because Tarsem Singh was a successful ad maker. So while he was making the ads over a number of years, he would sneak in the shoots for the fantasy scenes. So he shot all over the world.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So he shot all over the world. So they like shot in China and Africa and all these exotic locations. So on his commercial jobs, he was using it as he hijacked it and used it as a way to make bits of the film as he was going along. It's mad stuff. It really was. I can still viscerally feel the performance. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing about it is like, you know,
it's one of those films I wish I'd seen it in the cinema.
Yeah. I can see it in my mind's eye right now. I can feel the heartbreak of the little girl right now. My heart is breaking even as I think about her and her desperation for the hero to survive at the end of the story. And I really, if you take away one recommendation from me from this, and you haven't seen The Fall, please seek it out. It is just utterly gorgeous. It really is beautiful.
I'd second that. That wasn't on my list. I just went through my whole list and they didn't list that one as as a flop.
It never got promoted. It did not get seen. It was.
I can't remember where I discovered it. I think it was just in the video shop one day, and I just decided to put it on.
I remember
Tarsem Sings The Fall.
I remember seeing.
He went on from that then to do The Cell with Jennifer Lopez, which again is very beautiful looking, but it's
No, I think The Cell came before this. I think The Cell predated this.
Really?
Sure yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah.
Why would he get to do The Cell before The Fall?
I'm just going to double check, make sure that's correct, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he did.
He must have done
did
music
The Cell
videos
first. So yeah, he was doing music. So The Cell came out in 2000, then The Fall. Then he did that Immortals. He did Mirror Mirror, Selfless. So the thing about it is he's only had like a handful or 5 or 6 features to his name, but The Fall is unique. It's just unique and it's brilliant. And
it's an art film,
but an entertainment. But it's also a fantasy. Magic. It incorporates magical realism. It's also a tale.
I don't mean that as in like saying it's an art film as in you're not going to like it because it's an art film, but it's, if you to hear it described, you might think of a kid's film, but it's far more magical than that. Like it's not whimsical, even though it is whimsical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it just manages to be really, really beautiful. Like you could take stills from that film and frame them, and they'd be gorgeous art pieces on the wall.
Yeah. It's a great.
I did not know he shot that film in piecemeal like that by
that's
shooting all over the world.
That's what my cursory glance at notes and stuff like that was just like, oh god, he was traveling the world shooting
If you got it wrong, just like Google it yourself.
Yeah, there's every chance I got it wrong because we were just doing this on the hoof. But so everything was actually caught in it looks amazing because and it's just composed. It's the images are composed so beautifully. I don't know if there's anything out there that compares to it.
There you go. And you see, my whole approach to this episode is that we were going to be discussing flops. So this episode was designed to be a flop. And I think we have pulled it off. Will.
Pulled it off. We pulled it off. Go us. Go us.
Yay. Screenplay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks a million for listening to this episode. As we usually say, this podcast wouldn't be possible without our Patreon supporters. Thank you to them. If you'd like to help us out, please rate and review the podcast wherever you listen to the podcast, whether it's Spotify or Apple or wherever. Just to rate it, give it a few stars. It makes a difference to the algorithm. Podcasts are getting harder and harder to promote. We've never really managed to find a foothold in amongst all the other podcasts out there. So you're one of the very, very few that are aware we exist. And it'd be good if you could let others know, because we can't do it. We literally can't promote the podcast beyond making the podcast and putting it out there and just hoping at some stage one of us ends up in a scandal where we're cancelled and everybody then starts sussing out Like, who are these guys? Let's listen to their podcast. Oh, actually, that's not too bad. I like that. But until then, we're just sending these out into the ether and hoping that something will connect.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a clip farm even. We don't have people that can clip the podcast and put the stuff out there. It's just the two of us.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we... Oh, copyright. Cut me off.
Doesn't matter. All right. Anything else you want to say?
Oh, it was good to chat. It was good. I enjoyed this. Always good to chat.
I'm starving. I want to have my breakfast.
I'm going to have a half one. It's a pear.
On the table there beside you.
Yeah.
Ew, do you have a pear for breakfast?
I actually ended up having one this morning. I didn't intend to, but I did end up having a breakfast this morning.
Pears are my second least favourite fruit.
Well, no. There we go. That's the difference. I love pears. I love them.
You're supposed to ask what's your least favourite.
Oh, what's your least favourite?
I'm not telling you now because you didn't ask me.
All right, okay. Come here. It was good to chat. All right. Take care.
Take care, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. It's Kiwis.
One is will.